Alright, so now we are covering antiderivatives, the exact opposite of derivatives, or as they're also known as integrals. So the rule for integrals is they also use a different symbol. Instead of d over dx, it's this little squiggly, right? Never really learned what this is called. So the term is generally x to the power of n times dx, which the integral ends up being, or the antiderivative ends up being x to the power of n plus 1, also divided by n plus 1. Because if you think about it, it's like the opposite of a derivative, which means, yeah, it's like a back and power rule where this reduces by 1 and then it's multiplied. It's like that. And then you have your constant, which is never, unless you're specifically looking for the constant, is generally defined as by the letter C. Unlike in another video where I used it just as a placeholder. So starting off with this equation, the integral of 3x to the power of 4 plus the square root of x plus 2x to the power of 5 minus x to the power of x squared times the differentiation in x. So let me just fix that real quick. There we go. So first what I like to do is I like to sort of rearrange anything that needs to be done. So for example, this x square root, change that to a 1 over 2 just for the sake of just for easing things, and then we get just like with the rule I stated above, so 3x to the power of 4 divided by 5 because that's n plus 1, and then this 2 also by 5. This one's actually interesting because since you're dividing by this, it ends up being like multiplying by the reciprocal. So you end up with a 3 on the bottom and the 2 on top here, or 3 in the denominator and 2 in the numerator. And for this term, you're probably wondering why it has a 3 here, but because of the fact that this increases to 6, that means the denominator would also be 6. And since there's a 2x here, you would just simplify it to, let me just show you this way. So that's the original term, but because they're both even numbers, you can just cancel them out, and this becomes a 1, and this becomes a 3. So that's why originally it was a over 3. And then last but certainly not least, we have minus x to the power of 3 over 3, plus that constant variable I mentioned earlier. And that's antiderivatives. Pretty standard, but no less difficult.